right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, call Allah Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem Kodash. Like to say shalom. Washen Yakabad got Walla Rakabs Aquanium now, Shalayakim now, which of course is double honors to our elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom Wabarakim Labakarim Shal Yasha Allah. It's peace and blessings to the elect. Okay, and here I have with me today is another article, okay, about how these other countries are basically gearing up as well as joining forces together. All right. And eventually this is going to lead to all of these countries allying up against America. Okay. So we see these things slowly but surely playing out to the prophecies that are written in the scriptures, man. Okay. Now this is the title of the article says, "Watch. Russia and Turkey begin joint military patrols in northeastern Syria." Now, when you read Ezekiel, the 38th chapter, it talks about how these countries, all right, we're going to come together, all right, and basically, all right, destroy Babylon, man. All right, tells you that in Revelations, all right, how the beast is going to hate the whore, okay? And in various parts of the scriptures, all right, how all of these countries are basically going to come up together against Babylon the Great, which is America. Okay, so I'm going to read this, Lord willing to read this, and I'll bring out some precepts, Lord willing to be edifying. So it says, Russian military police and Turkish border troops have started patrolling the area along Syria-Turkey border. It says the patrols came as part of a deal reached earlier this month by the presidents of the two countries. The mission began in the vicinity of Al-Darbashaya on Friday. Okay, so basically there was a deal made between these two leaders to join forces, all right, to secure their borders. So it says footage from the scene shows a massive convoy of military vehicles, including armed personnel carriers and mine-resistant trucks from both Russia and Turkey, driving through the Syrian countryside. All right. So it says Russia has developed its military police for the job, while Turkey has apparently sent in border guards. So it says the deployment was agreed during a meeting between Russia's President Vladimir Putin and his Turkish counterpart, Tayyip Erdogan. Okay, so it says in Saki on October 22nd. The goal of the joint patrols is to maintain security within a safe zone along the Turkish-Syrian border. Okay, so nothing too big on this, but just wanted to stress the point of how these countries are, basically joining together. They're becoming allies with each other and making all type of sweet deals between each other. And I know also that Russia is making allies with a lot of countries through the S-400 nuclear defense system that they have, which they're selling, and a lot of countries are actually purchasing from them. So it's another way these countries are joining allies. Okay, so it says, let me keep reading. It says creation of a safe zone was the stated goal of a Turkish mission in northeastern Syria, dubbed Operation Peace Spring, which kicked off early this month. The campaign targeted Kurdish-led militias considered to be terroristic by Ankara, who were in control of this part of Syria. Okay, so let's bring out some precepts, all right, to back that up. All right, so of course we're going to head to Ezekiel, the 38th chapter. This is Ezekiel chapter 38 and verse 1. It says, "And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog in the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him, and say, Thus saith the Lord power, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal." All right, and we understand that Gog is a representation. Gog and Magog is a representation, or modern day Russia. Okay, Verse 4 says, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth, and all thine army, horses and horsemen. It says, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. All right, now when you read verse 5, it talks about the other countries that was going to join, all right, or that are going to join Russia in that battle. So it says Persia, Ethiopia, Libya, with them, all of them with shield and helmet. It says Gomer and all of his bands, the house of Togomar of the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with thee. Okay, so there's going to be many, it's going to be a great company, all right, of armies, or people, okay, that in other countries that are going to ally alongside with Russia, all right, as well as China, okay, which is not mentioned right here, but China is also going to ally up with Russia, all right, in this Third World War, okay. So it says, verse 4, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth in thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. And we understand that the modern day sword, all right, is actually a thermonuclear missile, the ICBM missiles, okay? As well as, you have the different, the word sword is just a representation of modern day military arsenal, so to speak, okay? But mainly, all right, that ICBM missile, man, because that's one of the most destructive instruments of war known to date, okay? And that was prophesied, all right, that it was prophesied that America is going to be destroyed, all right, Babylon is going to be destroyed by those ICBM missiles, all right, which is that sword, all right, really, which is, the sword of the Lord, man. He's going to have his spirit on those missiles, all right, and the Lord is going to put hooks into Russia's jaws, all right, into Gog and Magog's jaws, to make sure that they do these things, man, all right, because at one point in time you had the Cold War, all right, which lasted for X amount of years. I believe it was about 90 years, up until about the late 1980s, early 1990s, all right, where there was a period of peace, and even still now today, well, no, it's gotten a lot more hostile since then. Things have gotten a lot more hostile, but during that time, in the 1990s, it was quite a bit of peace between Russia and America. But now tensions are beginning to boil back up, so to speak. Okay, so let's continue. Verse 5, it says, Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet. Gomer and all of his bands, the house of Togomar of the north quarters and all of his bands, and many people with thee. Verse 7, be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all of thy company that are assembled unto thee, and thou shalt be a guard unto them. Okay, so Russia is basically going to guard all these smaller countries, all right, and all of these smaller countries are basically going to ally up with Russia, all right, in this Third World War. So let's get Jeremiah chapter 50, one of my favorites, in verse 22. It says, a sound of battle is in the land, and of great destruction. It says, how is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon become a desolation among the nations? All right, so it's saying, how is the hammer, all right, which that hammer just represents how America is a big bad bully, basically. Okay, you have all of these countries who are in agreement, all right, that America always makes its own unilateral decisions. Okay, meaning that it doesn't include other countries, all right, or consider other countries rather, when it makes its decisions, and they create their own narrative, all right, just to just so that they can fulfill their enterprise, basically, So I'm gonna continue on. It says, verse 23: how is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon become a desolation among the nations? Okay, so this is a future prophecy of what's going to come to America. All right. It says, I have laid a snare for thee, And thou art also taken, O Babylon, and was not aware, thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against the Lord. Okay, so for all the wickedness that has been going on in this place since the foundations of this wicked country, the Lord said that what? Because of that, he's going to destroy this place, man. Verse 25, and the Lord hath opened his armory. Okay, his armory, which the armory of the Lord represents the weapons. All right, well, it explains it in the verse. It says the weapons of his indignation. All right, which those weapons are what? Those ICBM missiles. All right, which is the sword of the Lord. It says the Lord have opened his armory and have brought forth weapons of his indignation, for this is the work of the Lord power of hosts in the land of the Chaldeans. Okay, so it says, come against her from the uttermost, from the utmost border, open her storehouses, cast her up as heaps, and destroy her utterly. Let nothing of her be left. Okay, so that's exactly what is going to happen, especially when you read Isaiah, the 13th chapter. It talks about how this place is going to be a desert, man. How the Arabians shall not pitch their tent here no more. And these other countries are not going to feed off of America as a gold mine, man, because it's going to be destroyed. Got one more precept. This is get Jeremiah chapter 4 and verse 19. It says, my bowels, I am pained at my very heart. My heart maketh a noise in me. I cannot hold my peace, because thou hast heard, O my soul, the sound of the trumpet, the alarm of war. Okay, so I want to look up that word war. I believe I looked it up before, but just for the sake of this verse, see what it says in Ibaryath. All right, Salaki, I clicked on the wrong verse. 4 and verse 19. So I believe it's Lakama. Yep. There you go. Okay. So it says Malakama. All right, which ma meaning from. All right, and then Lakama meaning battle or war. Okay. So that's that Hebrew word for war. All right, the alarm of Lakama. All right, that's what's being raised in the land, man. The Lord is ringing the alarm. All right, and we're seeing the pieces of the puzzle smoothly fall together, or to play out the prophecies that the Heavenly Father has written before time. Verse 20, destruction upon destruction is cried, for the whole land is spoiled. Suddenly are my tents spoiled and my curtains in a moment. Okay, so that's exactly what's going to happen to this place, Babylon, all right, which is also a code name for America in the scriptures. Lord willing, this is edifying unto the elect. Of course, all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Kwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Salutation, peace, and blessing to the elect. Shalom.